You know the feeling, right? We've all been on that project that just takes off and soars, and we've definitely been on the one that sinks. 9 times out of 10, the difference comes down to one simple thing: the team. Today, we're going to unlock a powerful blueprint for building teams that don't just get the job done, they truly excel.
Just think about it for a second. That one team where everything just clicked, where ideas flowed and it all felt so effortless. And then there's the other kind, where every single step felt like wading through mud. What is the secret ingredient? What really separates the great from the frustrating? Well, it turns out the answer isn't some kind of magic or luck. It's actually a structured, repeatable process. And our guide for this whole thing is the Team Working Excellence Workbook. Think of it as a clear, actionable blueprint for building those high-performing teams we all want to be a part of. So, let's dive in.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the core framework, the 7 facets of excellence. Then, to make it super practical, we're going to organize them into 3 key pillars: the structure that supports the team, the culture that fuels it, and the course that guides it. And to wrap it all up, we'll talk about how you can create your own personal action plan. Ready to build something awesome?
So, at the very heart of this workbook are these 7 facets of excellence. Now, the key here is to not think of them as just some checklist you have to tick off. Instead, picture them as these interlocking gears. When they all turn together smoothly, they create this incredible momentum. Get these right, and your team isn't just on the road to success, it's hitting the accelerator.
And here they are, all in one place. Clear roles, open communication, collaboration, trust, conflict resolution, a shared vision, and adaptability. Just take a look at them for a second. You can see how they cover everything, from the really tactical stuff to the emotional core of a team. Each one is a totally vital piece of the puzzle. Now, let's break them down into 3 logical groups to see how they build on each other, starting with the very foundation.
First up, structure. These next 3 facets, they form the operational backbone of any team. This is the how we get work done part of the equation. It's the essential framework that prevents total chaos and makes sure everyone is pulling in the same direction. Honestly, everything starts right here. When roles are fuzzy, what do you get? You get confusion, you get duplicated work, and you get things falling through the cracks. True clarity means every single person knows exactly what they own, what's expected of them, and, this is critical, how their individual piece of the puzzle powers the team's bigger mission. And this isn't just some vague, nice-to-have idea. The workbook gets really practical, suggesting concrete actions you can take, like actually write down role charters. Be super explicit about who has the authority to make which decisions. Clarify the reporting structure. The goal is simple, right? Get rid of all the ambiguity so people can just focus on doing their best work. Okay, next up in our structure is communication, which is pretty much the lifeblood of any team. But we're talking about more than just talking. It's really about creating an environment of, psychological safety, where people feel they can share information honestly, where they listen to understand, not just to reply, and where they respect different viewpoints without fear.
So, how do you actually make that happen? Well, the workbook stresses that you have to make it an active practice. Foster transparency so there are no hidden agendas. Encourage active listening skills, not just waiting for your turn to talk. Use regular check-ins to make sure everyone's aligned. And build a culture where constructive feedback is seen as a way to help everyone grow. It's a skill, and just like any other skill, it takes practice. The final piece of our structural foundation is collaboration, and this one is huge. It's a fundamental mindset shift from me to we. It's all about recognizing that the team's success is your success and that we can always achieve more together than any one of us could alone.
This quote from the workbook just gets right to the heart of it. When a team truly, deeply internalizes this idea, valuing collective success over individual recognition, all those personal egos start to take a back seat. That shift in mindset, that's the real engine that drives a high-performing team. Okay, so, with a strong structure in place, we can now focus on the heart of the team. It's culture. These next 2 facets are all about those interpersonal dynamics, the stuff that creates an environment where people feel valued, respected, and safe. Trust isn't just a feeling that magically appears. It's something that's earned over time. The workbook defines it as the outcome of consistent, reliable actions. It's built when people do what they say they're going to do, when they show integrity by owning up to their mistakes, and when they genuinely respect the expertise and contributions of their colleagues. So, how do you actually build it? Well, you've got to be consistent. You have to be honest, especially when things go wrong.
Make a real point to recognize the work of others. And, as you can see here, handling disagreements well is a massive trust builder. Which, hey, brings us perfectly to our next facet.
Let's be really clear about something. Conflict is not the sign of a bad team. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. The big difference is that weak teams let it fester or it becomes personal. Strong teams, on the other hand, they see it as an opportunity. They face it head-on and use that friction to clarify issues and actually strengthen their solutions.
The constructive path forward is pretty clear. Focus on the problem, not the person. Seek a win-win solution, not just a personal victory for your ego. The key is to tackle issues early and listen to truly understand the other person, not just to cook up your comeback. I'm telling you, mastering this is a total game changer for any team.
So we've got our structure and we've got our culture. The final piece of the puzzle is all about direction. Where are we going and how do we navigate the journey to get there? These last two facets provide the team with its compass and its ability to handle any rough seas ahead.
Think about it. A team without a shared vision is really just a group of people working on separate to-do lists. A compelling vision gives everyone a why. It answers that all-important question. Why does our work actually matter? That shared purpose is an incredibly powerful motivator that aligns every single action toward a common destination.
And to make a vision really stick, you can't just hand it down from on high. The workbook really emphasizes involving the entire team in creating it. That's how you build real ownership. Then you translate that big vision into concrete, smart goals. And crucially, you have to talk about it all the time and celebrate every little step you take towards it.
And finally, we've arrived at the seventh facet. In a world that seems to change by the minute, a team's ability to pivot and persevere is absolutely non-negotiable. Adaptability is all about how you handle new challenges, and resilience is about how you get back up after you've been knocked down.
Let's break these two down a little bit more. So adaptability isn't just reacting to change. It's about being proactive, about constantly learning, and about staying flexible. And resilience, that's built on emotional strength, that sheer grit to keep going. And, this is so important, the strong support systems within the team that help people get through the tough times.
We've just walked through the 7 facets that make a team truly excellent. But look, just understanding them is only the first step. The real power comes from actually putting them into practice. So now, the focus is going to shift from the team to you. What is your role in all of this?
So let's end with this one powerful thought. Don't get overwhelmed trying to transform the entire team overnight. Instead, just reflect on these 7 facets and ask yourself a simple question. What is the one area where I can improve? Because if every single person on the team commits to improving just one thing, the collective impact, it will be absolutely extraordinary. So what's your one thing going to be?